Welcome. I'm Andrew Thomas with the Gallatin Valley Sentinel. In this video, I'm going to discuss the executive branch as it relates to Bozeman city government. However, before I do that, I'd like to bring your attention to some resources that relate to the work of the Bozeman Study Commission. The website is found in the middle link here, as well as the Gallatin Valley Sentinel and the Bozeman City Charter. So if you haven't already checked out these resources and familiarized yourself with both the charter as well as the work of the Bozeman Study Commission and the Gallatin Valley Sentinel, I would highly encourage you to check out these resources and understand what is going on with the study commission and also understand how to contribute your thoughts about the direction Bozeman city government should go. So in this video, we are going to be discussing the executive management of Bozeman city government. So how a city is managed has important implications. In this presentation, we will explore the various models of city management, including the city manager, the executive mayor, and the hybrid mayor-manager model. Each of these models have distinct advantages and disadvantages. In this presentation, we will explore some of the basic features of each model, as well as some best practices for the management of city governments. So the first model of city executive management is the city manager model. So a city manager structure is one in which a city manager is hired by the commissioner or the mayor to act as a professional manager for the city. This is called the commissioner-manager form of government. Now, in terms of advantages, you have the advantage of having a professionally trained manager who understands how government works, who also understands public administration and personnel management. Also, managers generally occupy a non-political position. They can provide continuity to city government, and they can be replaced easily if they're not doing their job. Now, in terms of drawbacks, they can be insulated from the electorate and they can focus on issues that might be important to their profession or to the interests of various agencies within the government. And they can also provide a bureaucratic cover for the commission's political agendas. Now, the next model of executive management is that of the executive mayor. So an executive or mayor model of government is one in which a mayor is either appointed by the commission or is independently elected to the position to carry out day-to-day operations of the city. This is called the commission executive form of government, often referred to as the strong mayor form of government. Now, in terms of advantages, the executive mayor model is directly accountable to voters. So if voters do not like what the mayor is doing, they can simply vote them out of office. Now, in terms of drawbacks, mayors can lack professional experience or familiarity with the technical details of government. There are also blurred lines and separation of powers. So the person who decides what the city should do is the same person who decides who gets hired to do it. So the city has a policy agenda that's implemented by the mayor, but the mayor also hires administrators to implement this plan. Sometimes this is not the best course of action. Also, a mayor can create an unstable work environment for city employees, which can lead to loss of institutional knowledge. So if you have a particularly zealous, agenda-driven mayor that comes in, and you have seasoned public employees who are nonpartisan, they know how to do their job, they know how to be objective, they might be at odds with a strong mayor model. So the next model is known as the hybrid model or the mayor-manager model. So what some call a hybrid model is really the strong mayor, so commission executive form of government, but where the mayor hires a chief administrative officer or CAO to carry out the day-to-day operations of the city. Now, in terms of advantages, this allows for both politically responsive leadership and professional management. However, in terms of drawbacks, because the CAO is hired and fired by and reports directly to the mayor, they may feel pressured to prioritize what the mayor wants over what might be best for the city. This can create issues with accountability. Also, to attract highly qualified CAOs, the city, that is the taxpayers, will need to pay them a highly competitive salary. This is often the highest salary in the city. So they will be paying for both an executive mayor, who is often full time and compensated in a full time way, and a CAO. Now, if we look at municipalities around Montana, what we find is that there are a variety of different models of government in terms of the basic structure of government and whether or not the government defaults to the Montana Code annotated rules or whether it has adopted a charter. So there is one town meeting city, so presumably it's a smaller town. It does not have a charter. There are two cities that have a commission chairman model, and they don't have charters. There is a commission executive model, 24 have charters, 90 do not have charters, and this is the most numerous. There's 114 of those. And then there's a commission manager model. So 9 have charters, 3 do not have charters, for a total of 12. So all told, we have 129 cities with a variety of forms of government that either have town meeting, commission executive, commission manager, commission chairman, but either default to the default MCA rules or have adopted their own charter. Now, in terms of best practices, there is a lot of debate in public policy and public administration circles about what is the best form of government for a city. And the opinions vary tremendously, and they also vary depending upon the size of the city. However, the National Civic League has provided a model city charter with commentary on best practices that can provide some insights into what is the best form of government for a certain type of city. So the following are some highlights as they relate to the issue of election or hiring of city offices. So if you would like to, you can check out the full text of the Model City Charter at the link noted below. So with city managers, here are some best practices. As a professional administrator, the city manager must be trained and experienced in the effective and equitable management of public service delivery. The manager must use this expertise to efficiently and effectively execute the policies adopted by the elected city commission. So the manager is an agent of the city commission. The elected commission sets the city's priorities and enacts legislation. The city manager's role is to serve as a strategic bridge, using their technical expertise to translate the commission's high-level goals as they relate to policy into operational reality. So the city manager is a technical expert who helps bring the commission and the mayor's policy goals into feasible reality that can then be implemented by city policies and practices. Now, also with city managers, there are some best practices. So here are some best practices. Professional management is essential to efficient and democratic local government by elected officials. So regardless of the governmental form, it is assumed that there are going to be non-elected professionals somehow involved in government, and the city manager is one of them. Also, city managers should submit policy proposals to elected officials based on their stated priorities, provide them with facts and technical and professional advice about policy options, and collaborate with them in setting goals for the community and organization. So regardless of whether or not city managers are elected, it is assumed that they are going to play an important role in the policymaking process. Also, city managers must recognize that elected representatives are accountable to their community for the decisions they make. Also, city managers should refrain from all political activities which undermine public confidence in professional administrators, refrain from participation in the election of the members of the employing legislative body, including the mayor. So the city manager should not be involved in local politics. It would be a clear conflict of interest. Also, the city manager should keep the community informed on local government affairs, encourage communication between residents and all local government officers, emphasize friendly and courteous service to the public, and seek to improve the quality and image of public service. Now, in terms of the appointment of a city manager, so generally speaking, the commission will appoint a city manager. Here is what the model charter says about that process. So appointment of the manager by majority vote of the entire membership of the council, not simply a majority of a quorum, assures undisputed support for the appointee. So the overwhelming majority of the commission should all agree that an individual should be appointed city manager, not just a simple majority. This is very important. Also, appointment for an indefinite term discourages contracting for a specified term or an arrangement that reduces the discretion of the council to remove the manager. So the manager is somewhat of an at-will employee. So if they're doing their job, they have nothing to worry about. They can continue to do their job regardless of who's on the commission. However, if they are not doing their job, they can be removed quickly and replaced with somebody that will be more competent. Also, the requirement that the manager be appointed solely on the basis of education and experience in the accepted competencies and practices of local public management. So there should be no other factor other than the prospective city manager's professional competence that is considered in appointing them as a city manager. Now, in terms of powers and duties of the city manager, the model charter says quite a few things about this. And here are some excerpts of the important points that you should consider with regards to a city manager. So the manager should be able to appoint and suspend or remove all city employees and appoint administrative officers provided for under this charter. So they have discretion to get rid of city employees or hire new ones. They should direct and supervise the administration of all departments, offices, and agencies of the city. They should attend all city commission meetings. The city manager shall have the right to take part in discussion, but shall not be able to vote on matters. That's reserved for the mayor and the commission. They should also see that all laws, provisions of this charter, and acts of the city commission are faithfully executed. So they are responsible for implementing the policies. They should prepare and submit annual budget and multi-year capital programs to the city commission for approval and execute the final budget approved by the commission to achieve the goals of the city. They should also submit to the city commission and make available to the public a complete report on the finances and administrative activities of the city. They should make such other reports as the city commission may require concerning operations. So their role is to monitor the operation of city government, but also inform and manage the city government in such a way as to follow the commission or mayor's direction. Additionally, the city manager should keep the city commission fully advised as to the financial condition and future needs of the city, make recommendations to the city commission concerning the affairs of the city, and facilitate the work of the city commission in developing policy, provide staff support services for the mayor and commission members, assist the commission to develop long-term goals for the city and strategies to implement these goals, encourage and provide staff support for regional and intergovernmental cooperation, promote partnerships among commission staff and citizens in developing public policy and building a sense of community, perform such other duties as are specified in this charter or may be required by the city commission, prepare the commission agenda, and then finally appoint members of temporary advisory committees and established by the city manager or the city commission. Now, in terms of hiring and performance evaluation of a city manager, the city commission hires the city manager to serve as the chief executive officer of city government and may terminate that appointment of the city manager at any time. It is an ongoing responsibility of the city commission to assure that the city manager and staff are accountable for their actions. So even though the city manager is an employee of the city, they have a lot of implicit political sway over how the city operates. Ultimately, the city council or mayor are the responsible actors in terms of mandating and ensuring that the city manager is performing as they should. Also, the commission shall formally evaluate the city manager's performance on an annual basis. The commission shall also monitor the policy proposals submitted by the city manager and administrative actions taken by the city manager and staff to ensure that the commission's expectations are being met and that acceptable standards are being maintained. Now, another feature of city government, aside from city managers, is administrative departments. So these are departments under the control of the executive, and they can be things like the fire department, the planning department, the police department, and so forth. And the model city charter has some basic overviews about how they should be managed and held accountable for their actions. So in terms of creation of departments, the city commission may establish city departments, offices, or agencies in addition to those created by this charter and may prescribe the functions of all departments, offices, and agencies. No function assigned by this charter to a particular department, office, or agency may be discontinued unless the charter specifically so provides, assigned by any other. Now, in terms of the departmental direction by the city manager, all departments, offices, and agencies under the direction and supervision of the city manager shall be administered by an officer appointed by and subject to the direction and supervision of the manager. With the consent of the commission, the city manager may serve as the head of one or more such departments, offices, or agencies, or may appoint one person as the head of two or more of them. Now, with regards to the city commission, the model city charter has some observations about how commissions should be structured as well. So the model city charter states the following: recognizing that all powers that can be exercised by a city rest in the popularly elected city commission, the charter must provide for a commission that is truly representative of the community. This is particularly important. If the electoral structure or the structure of the commission results in a skewing of who is represented on the commission, it is really difficult to conclude that government can be representative of the people or ultimately effective in carrying out the will of the people with regards to implementing government policy. In Bozeman's current city charter, the only eligibility requirements to hold the office of mayor or commissioner are to be a registered voter whose principal residence is in the city. These can be changed in the new city charter. The term of office of elected officials is currently 4 years, elected in accordance with the current city charter. This can also be changed in the new city charter, which is now being reviewed by the Bozeman City Study Commission, and term limits can be considered. So the model city charter recommends 4-year staggered terms. Under this approach, elections of commission members take place every 2 years. Many cities have chosen staggered terms over concurrent terms to avoid dramatic changes in commission composition at each election. Now, with regards to the number of commissioners and elections, the model city charter does not specify the exact number of commission members, but recommends that the commission be small, ranging from 5 to 9 members. The model city charter presents 3 ways commission members can be elected: district elections of an even number of council members, combination of district and at-large elections of an even number of council members, and in small homogeneous communities, at-large elections of an even number of council members may be suitable as well. The model city charter also states that community members may feel isolated from and unconnected to their government without some geographical basis of representation. At-large elections should be considered as an alternative for small communities that are homogeneous or have no geographic concentration of underrepresented voters. A problem can arise in mixed systems when at-large council members consider their position to be superior to that of district or ward members who they are perceiving as being rivals. Now, with regards to Bozeman's mayor's current role, they have the following powers and duties in the current city charter. The mayor shall be a voting member of the city commission and shall attend and preside at meetings of the commission. The mayor shall represent the city in intergovernmental relationships. They shall present an annual state of the city message. They shall add an item to the commission agenda prepared by the city manager. The mayor shall assign, subject to the consent of the commission, agenda items to subcommittees of the commission. The mayor shall perform other duties specified by the commission. The mayor shall not have any appointment power to city boards except where required by state law. The mayor shall be recognized as the head of city government for all ceremonial purposes and by the governor for purposes of military law, but shall have no administrative duties and shall not interfere with the administration of the city. Now, with regards to the strong mayor versus weak mayor model, there are a number of additional details to these 2 different types of models that are particularly relevant. So the degree of power the mayor holds can vary widely depending on the options selected within the city charter. So for example, the mayor could have veto power over the decisions of the city commission, this is the strong mayor model, or have an equal vote with other commissioners, this is the weak mayor model. The mayor can hire and fire without the approval of the commission any city employee under the strong mayor model, or have an equal vote with other commissioners on who to appoint or hire as city manager and have no oversight over other city employees under the weak mayor model. Also, the mayor can prepare the budget and present it to the commission under the strong mayor model, or the city manager prepares the budget and the commission and the mayor vote and make amendments to it under the weak mayor model. So the mayor as a presiding officer. Now, there are many drawbacks to the commission executive or strong mayor form of government. An alternative that should be given serious consideration is the concept of the mayor as a presiding officer. So one whose power is balanced out by the city commission. Under this method, the mayor is selected by a majority vote of the city commission from among its own members at the first meeting following each municipal election. This internal selection ensures that the presiding officer has the full confidence of the legislative body and is committed to a collaborative, consensus-driven agenda. The mayor would chair all city commission meetings, represent the public or represent the city at large public events, and remains a voting member of the city commission with no veto authority. Also, this model guarantees that the city is run like a high-performing organization. It honors the democratic will of the people by empowering the entire city commission while protecting the city's technical operations from being disrupted by a single politically non responsive executive.